This is just a quick video. I was doing this anyway, and I thought I might as well do it with you. But first, don't forget to thank all the patrons, Wybarian, and Baron of Dice. By the way, if you're looking for the Gorkamorka pack with the manifestations and the stuff, I could strongly recommend that you get it, because it exists. It's from the guy in the thumbnail. I always mispronounce his name. But it's called, it's a game, it's called Gorkamorka Pack Oryx Spells and Train for AOS. You should, if you need it on TTS, here it is. Okay, so here's how the spell works, and here's why it's really good. So here's my shaman, and when you cast a spell, let's just say he's sitting right here on this objective, you have to set it up wholly within 9, or you have to set it wholly within 12 inches of the caster. So just to make it look cool, we're going to face it this way. I know lots of people are going to try to face it the other way. Okay, so whatever, you have to set up the two things within a range of each other. I'm sure most people are going to set it up just so that it looks cool, like this. Cool. And then, so this is your hero phase, you cast it, cool, you get it out there. And then, in your movement phase, you don't have to wait until your next turn, but in your movement phase, what you get to do is you get to remove one of these two, so obviously it's the back foot, and set it up on the battlefield wholly within 9 inches of the other part of the manifestation. So here it is. So if we want to set it up wholly within 9 inches, it's got to be like, you know, here, let's say. That's probably 9 inches. Do we still have, does TTS still have those little rulers kicking around? They do. This is a 9-inch ruler. So right, so it's got to be wholly within 9 inches of this other one. So you even get a little bit more space here. Right, that looks about right. Yep, little bit on each side. And then everybody that's within 3 inches of this. So everybody that's within 3 inches of this oddly shaped manifestation it's a D3 mortals on a 2-up. And then until the beginning of my next turn, they lose a charge die. So that means that if I'm going first, look how far I can reach. I'm not even set up on the line. If this was my strategy and I was like, okay, like I'm gonna just foot a Gork them right away, look how far I can get. Even if I'm not set up on the line, even if I'm comfortably set up like behind a line of infantry, like I'm still tagging into their zone. So I stomp, and it is a 2-up on a D3, right? So it is a 33% chance of failure, but luckily we get to do it to multiple units. So we do this, and then they get stomped, and then it's their turn. They are in combat with this, but because they're in, so they'll probably get rid of this on my turn, on my first turn, right? They're probably going to pile into this and then fight it. So they do get a 3-inch movement towards this, right? They can't move away from it. They have to move towards it. And then it's removed from the battlefield, right? Because it's probably not going to, it's probably not going to survive. Oh, jeez, what did I do? It's probably not going to survive a round of combat, right? Because it does not have a ton of survivability, right? It is on a 4-up, 8 health, and a 6-up ward. So it might survive a round of combat. It depends on how sneaky you are and how close you get it in. Because don't forget, it doesn't have to finish a charge, so it can be just outside of 3. And if you can tag a unit on its corner, it'll be super annoying. You can also do something like where, let's say that you tag 2 units with it. Let's say that, you know, we have 2 different units of Ard Boys here that are deployed on the line. And if you do tag both of these units by being within 3, one of them is going to fight and pile in, right? But the other one might not get to pile in at all because the foot might be, the manifestation might be destroyed by that point, right? So because if you pick up one foot, you pick up the other foot as well. And so they might get a movement like this. But then on their turn, they can't do a 3d6 charge. Sorry, they can't do a 2d6 charge. They can only do a whatchamacallit. It's a 1d6 charge, which is a 33% chance of failing a 3-inch charge. So, I mean, yeah. And then this manifestation, the marsh, I wish you would stop doing that. Oh, there it goes. This marsh has to be set up wholly within, what is it again? Wholly within 18 inches. So if my foot can reach all the way to here on turn 1 without me having to move anywhere, right? My foot, why won't this work? My foot is going to be able to be set up. Why? There we go. No, still doesn't want to measure. Okay, well, it's got to be wholly within 18, so this is 12, right? And, right, so, like, this thing can get pretty far up the board, too. Right? This thing can get pretty far up the board, too. And what this thing does is it means you can't redeploy and you can't run while this thing is, what, within 3 inches? Nope, 6 inches. So these two things combined, like my ability to shut off 1d6 charge, or to reduce the charge by a d6, and then make it so they can't run, it's like, these guys aren't going anywhere. Right? They're not going anywhere. If my opponent got to do whatever they wanted on their first turn, like, so this is the movement that they get, and then they're both locked in combat still. Or maybe they're not by their turn, but even if they're not, it's okay. Because if I didn't have control on their first turn, they could do something like this. Right? They could, like, auto run 10 inches. And these guys could also probably, you know, maybe run a fair bit to cap these objectives. And I would much rather this unit be stuck way back here than getting up in my face. So, pretty strong. Let me know, are there any other tricks that you're using for Foot of Gork or for these new orc manifestations? Please let me know. Like, subscribe. Wah.